Bạn hài lòng với những lý thuyết trong sách vở? Hay muốn tham gia những dự án tầm cỡ thế giới? Bạn thỏa hiệp với một vị trí tạm ổn? Hay bứt phá để tạo vị thế riêng? HCL, tập đoàn công nghệ hàng đầu thế giới trong 44 năm qua, nay đã đến Việt Nam để giúp bạn kiến tạo tương lai, cùng bạn định hướng sự nghiệp và khai mở tiềm năng từ hôm nay để bạn sẵn sàng lập trình ngày mai. Từ hàng không đến ngân hàng, từ bán lẻ đến y tế, từ dầu khí đến du lịch, vận tải và logistics, HCL đã và đang giúp các đối tác dẫn đầu trong mọi lĩnh vực. Với những mối quan hệ chiến lược bền vững, với hơn 153.000 nhân tài trẻ năng động từ khắp các châu lục, với sản phẩm và dịch vụ tân tiến đáp ứng từng yêu cầu riêng biệt, HCL đã cải tiến các hoạt động của doanh nghiệp tại hơn 55 quốc gia. Giờ đây, bạn hoàn toàn có thể cùng chúng tôi bước tiếp. Gia nhập HCL ngay! Bạn đang chỉ tìm một công việc hay một sự nghiệp đầy cơ hội thăng tiến? Bạn hài lòng với những lý thuyết trong sách vở? Hay muốn tham gia những dự án tầm cỡ thế giới? Bạn thỏa hiệp với một vị trí tạm ổn? Hay bứt phá để tạo vị thế riêng? HCL, tập đoàn công nghệ hàng đầu thế giới trong 44 năm qua, nay đã đến Việt Nam để giúp bạn kiến tạo tương lai, cùng bạn định hướng sự nghiệp và khai mở tiềm năng từ hôm nay để bạn sẵn sàng lập trình ngày mai. Từ hàng không đến ngân hàng, từ bán lẻ đến y tế, từ dầu khí đến du lịch, vận tải và logistics, HCL đã và đang giúp các đối tác dẫn đầu trong mọi lĩnh vực. Với những mối quan hệ chiến lược bền vững, với hơn 153.000 nhân tài trẻ năng động từ khắp các châu lục, với sản phẩm và dịch vụ tân tiến đáp ứng từng yêu cầu riêng biệt, HCL đã cải tiến các hoạt động của doanh nghiệp tại hơn 55 quốc gia. Giờ đây, bạn hoàn toàn có thể cùng chúng tôi bước tiếp. Gia nhập HCL ngay!
Vâng, chào mừng đã quay trở lại với chuỗi hội thảo về công nghệ HCL Tech Talk được tổ chức bởi tập đoàn công nghệ HCL Technology ngày hôm nay. Và lời đầu tiên thì mình xin được gửi lời chúc sức khỏe tới các vị khách mời đang có mặt tại buổi hội thảo trực tuyến này. Welcome back to the HCL Tech Talk series organized monthly by HCL Technologies. So first of all, I would like to send my best wishes to all the guests that present to the event. Thưa quý vị, 5G được coi là một bước ngoặt của thời đại mới, hứa hẹn cho sự phát triển của các công nghệ mới như tự động hóa, thực tế ảo hay IoT. Và ngày nay, mạng 5G đang trở thành cuộc đua của xu hướng mới trong công nghệ, và hầu hết các ông lớn đều đã nhập cuộc với những bước tiến mạnh mẽ trong việc triển khai hạ tầng mạng này. Và để tiếp nối với chủ đề công nghệ, HCL trở lại với hội thảo 5G, The Next Generation of Connectivity sẽ mang lại nhiều kiến thức bổ ích cũng như các cơ hội việc làm hấp dẫn tại HCL Việt Nam. 5G is considered as a turning point of a new era, promising for the development of new technologies such as automation, virtual or IoT. This network is becoming a new technology race, and the most of tech giants have joined in with the improvement in developing this network. So continue with the topic of smart technologies as you'll come back with online virtual seminars. 5G, the next generations of connectivities, will share with you the useful information about 5G's network and bring attractive offers at HCL Việt Nam. Vâng, và trong suốt hội thảo, nếu như có câu hỏi thì quý vị vui lòng comment bên dưới và chúng tôi sẽ giải đáp tại phiên hỏi đáp ở cuối chương trình. So if you have any questions, please comment below so we will answer at the Q&A session. Và để bắt đầu thì tôi xin mời ông Tuấn Nguyễn, Giám đốc Kinh doanh tại HCL Việt Nam, xin có đôi lời phát biểu. So to begin, I would like to invite Mr. Tuấn Nguyễn, Country Sales Head of HCL Việt Nam, to have the speech. So Mr. Tuấn, please.
Okay. So thank you, Catherine. Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to HCL Tech Talk today, right? And thank you so much for having me here with the team today. And yes, I has been working in this industry for 20 years, and I used to be with IBM Corporation, Microsoft, and some other tech giants in the past. And I'm happy to join Excel and at the moment I'm working at the associate vice president and in charge of countries head of sales. And yeah, I would like just make very short introduction about the Excel technologies, who we are, what we are doing in love of the world, what we are doing to helping our clients, what we are doing to recruit our talents and develop the employees in organization, and how Excel look like in terms of the environment where on the talent they would like to come to work with us. And yes, please go to the next one, please. Okay, this is the first question that I might ask you. What do you think about Excel when you hear the name? Excel technologies, this might be could be the first time or sometimes you hear about this one, but actually it's Excel, the tech giants. In the fiscal year 2020, Excel declares $10.5 billion in terms of revenues. And at the moment, we are excited to have more than 176,000 employees we call ideapreneurs, who's working with the innovative mindset, willing just working in a flexible and dynamic environment in Excel nowadays, in love of the world. And Excel is as what I can say, the best of choice for employees where they see the good environment for them to come to work with us, and also the choices for at the partner choices for the clients, where we bring in the high quality of services, the trust and a long-term relationship with them. And you can see in the left hand side the score from the best in class client satisfaction. And at the moment we have more than 50 countries presence in love of the world. And the workforce is quite dynamic with 160 nationalities from our peoples. So next one, please. Next one, please. Okay. And Excel we carry with us 44 years of innovation and transformation, starting with early 1976 with the tech startup with a mindset about what would be the futures with the transformation from transformation from the PC and laptop and technology at that time. And the founders his navigation and driving the companies move forward with a lot of wonderful technology, as you can see, 8-bit computers, for example. In 1978, if you see the time a little bit earlier, even with the IBM PC at that time, then companies transforms a lot, move to the infrastructure managed services. Then the companies enters in a software development by doing some M&As at that time, 1997, for example. And in 1978, the companies acquired small companies, but actually this is one of the important acquisition at that time for the company's name Asian. Then the company's moving forward, called innovation in 2014. And nowadays, people all talk about the AI, digital cloud, cybersecurity, IoT, all kind of thing. That is also exactly what Excel position ourselves in a ways we transform, put the strategy and execution plan to help our client in love with the world. And further, companies move forward with a lot of software products acquisition. This is one of the big deals we sign up with the IBM software to brought in a lot of famous software products. And we're not totally working on our own, but actually we partner with many famous tech giants in love of the world, such as Google, Microsoft, SAP, Oracle, IBM, and AWS, for example. Next one, please. Yeah, and recently you might heard from newspaper article about the news presence in 3 countries: Vietnam, South Korea, and Taiwan. But actually, the companies has worked in more than 50 countries, as I mentioned, and we has more than 250 delivery centers and 60 innovation labs. That's a good line to elaborate further when we come to the next slide, talking about the innovation labs. it in a couple of next minute. Next one, please. Okay. And what we're doing nowadays to help the client to transform their business, actually, as we call the ways Excel understand the business challenge from different industry, vertical and geographies in the ways we help them with three key portfolios. The first one is about the IT business services. So think about the enterprise, digital enterprise, where we support them to have a stable transformation digital foundation or the entire infrastructures, what we call line. We call nowadays to help them to have a hybrid mode, which could be the public cloud, private cloud, or hybrid environment to help them to set up the foundation. At the same time, we're helping to move forward with unified system management, for example, the cybersecurity at the foundation. And there's a lot of things help them to have very good, native collaboration, for example. And we've moved a little bit further with the higher layers, help them to transform with a consultant, application transformation, help them with integration, API economies, and mobile app, mobile platform. And move a bit further up to higher level, we help them to transform with the business integration, omni-channels, the insights, business insights, with IoTs and big data, for example. And another portfolio we mentioned here regarding to engineering and R&D services. You might know many famous brand names like IBM, Dell, EMC, Cisco, Intel, Quantum, for example. But inside, there must be the footprint from companies Excel in terms of we helping them with engineering R&D services. By the way, we help them to define prototype, OEM, testing, verification, validation, and even with the embedded system application development for them. And we are well known with the engineering R&D services to help on up tech giants working. It's not only in the tech giant, but also in many fields like mechanical, telco, for example. And the third one regarding to transformation for companies, and then mentioned about the strategy from previous slide, when companies moving forward with a software plug and platform. By doing the software acquisition with IBM, which moving focus to help the client to have more digital experience, to have more commerce, understand and support them with the entire end-to-end digital marketing solution, for example. And another things regarding to the P&P product and platform is that the entire digital solution where we help them to transform their workplace workflow, could be mobile application, collaboration solution, email, listing solution, for example. And we also support a lot of clients with the AI automation regarding to clouds with the very well-known products like Dry Ice, for example. And there's a lot of customer footprint recognition from the ends that you see at the bottom line. Okay, please move forward. Next one, please. Yes, this is the one of the interesting slides we'd like to talk about. Excel is not working by our own, but actually the model nowadays, we bring in the expertise from our end, come to closer to client. As you see, a lot of next generation labs all over the world, from US to European countries to ASEAN Pacific. In the ways we work with them by put design thinking in the place, in the ways we understand the business challenge, co-create, co-work, and co-innovate with them. You will see a lot of advanced technologies nowadays in this kind of next generation labs, from IoTs, 5Gs, native clouds, application transformation, cybersecurity, and software-defined network, for example. It's all of kinds of expertise from Excel, co-create, co-work with the client, and bring back the benefit to the client in all over the world. And I would like to see Vietnam at the next destination, I can say, in this network from Excel. Next one, please. Okay. And nowadays, people keep on talking about Industrial 4.0, but actually the digital transformation or digital enterprise either journey. Many of them might be in early stage, some of them in advanced stage. And the ways HCL define their mode 1, 2, 3 in terms of help them to cover the entire the services, products and solution. We can help them whatever the stage they are nowadays. Could be traditional services, could be very advanced services, or even in the ways they apply product and platform to move forward with innovation. We cover the end-to-end to support them. To build up the efficiencies and reliability, or apply cloud to bring in agilities, to have empty channel to bring in more experience, or bring in big data analytics to give them more insight. These are the ways we define the growth blueprint to help enterprise among in industry. Next one, please. Okay, and I'm so proud to say we bring in the deep expertise by enter in X specific industry. Some of them are naming here, as you see. This could be financial services, with working with the top global investment banks and finance firms in all over the world. By deep insights, working closely with them. And you also see from manufacturing technology services, telco, retail, public services, and license. So what I would like to say here is that we carry with us the deep expertise in each specific industry. And also at the same time, we cover many industry, what is called like breadth expertise as well. So this is the ways we define how we support client. And the teams all over the world, we bring in the global expertise working in X geographies to support client in specific major verticals, as you see here. Next one, please. Okay, and here we go with Vietnam. Let me put it in this way. The first, Vietnam is next destination for XL to expand. The reason why, you can ask me that question. There's a lot of people talking, or you also can read it from newspaper, from analysts, and from the World Bank, or from international money funding firm, for example, right? And Vietnam is the fastest economies countries, where it sees like around 6 to 8% year-on-year growth. And we would like to bring in the expertise to support in each specific industry, as you see here, the bankings at the heart of the bodies who press on the bus to support the entire economies and the countries. They would like to enter in that one. Also would like to support utility, CPG, retails, and others, insurance, and other segmentation in the country to help them to transform with our expertise from global, regional, and so with our local presence here. And we should look at Vietnam. It's not only for business, but we would like to build up Vietnam to be the next global delivery centers, focus on IT and business services, engineering and R&D services, infrastructure and management services, product platform, and happily to say global innovation centers. And we bring in the core team from other countries to build the core team. We recruit experienced people from the market. And we're working closely with university to run hackathon, tax-B program to have on the talent to be on board with us. And happy to say, I would like to look forward. We would like to look forward to have more people like you to join with us in XL family. Next one, please. Okay, and the information we have here means a lot of things. We all talk about ourselves in a good way, but if we step back to see what our customer talking about ourselves, what the third parties, analyst vendors like famous vendor like Gartner, Forrester, IDCs, and other Everest, for example, they're talking about the XL, and you see on the good recognition here regarding digital, cloud, Internet of Things, digital workplace services, cybersecurity, AI, and automation. And this we probably to talks, we are the partner of choices, as I mentioned, for the client to think about who could be their long-term partnership, who could be bring in the high quality of services, who could be bring in the expertise, deep insight for each industry to help them to transform their business. Next one, please. Excel is nothing if we don't have the very strong driven values as you see here. The first one is all about our employees, where Excel makes ourselves become the very comfortable working environment for employees. When they come as a member in the family, they are encouraged to innovate by themselves. They are encouraged to bring in new ideas, what could be the good for companies, good for the client, and we encourage them to work in that way. We highly appreciate the employees to build up as the representative when they come to work with the client, build trust with the client, be transparency with the client, be flexible to support the client. And we put the value at the center, whatever we can do to help the companies to bring in more value for the client. Is that at the heart of companies. And we have the social responsibilities during times, even with pandemics, for example. We support the society around, and even in the headquarters, mother companies, we're working closely with the government to contribute a lot of things to society. And one of the interesting things I would like to highlight here is not many companies define in their value we call relationship beyond the contracts. We should not come to work by transaction with client. We come to set position Excel is the long-term partnership with the client, where we want to bring in our expertise, support them. This is not just by the contracts, what they can do to serve them, what we can do to help them to move forward. They can think about ourselves as a trusted advisor. The first one is make a call to ask for help. This is on the meaning from relationship beyond the contracts that I would like to say. Next one, please. Okay, this is the entire the values and the working cultures that Excel creates inside the Excel corporation. This is all about the cultures, working cultures. I'm just mentioned with you about the environment, the ways people to working together, the ways people be encouraged to move forward, the ways people innovate and create a new value for client. And as an outcome, to bring in to contribute back to the community. And by doing that, we are signing nowadays. We're signing among each other. And we are proudly to say, Excel must be the next destination for you to consider to come and to work with us. And by saying that, I would like to say thank you for listening. And I would like to hand over to my colleagues, Mr. Sai Kumar. Sai Kumar, your turn.
Thank you so much, Tuan. Hello, everyone. My name is Sai Kumar Dubagunta. I am from the HCL office in Dallas, Texas, in the USA. I'm a principal or the head of one of the heads of our 5G practice, and I'm specifically responsible for the enterprise 5G section of the 5G. I look after the solutions and consulting we do for enterprise customers. So I will touch upon a little bit as we go along. So if you see, for those of you who are new to 5G, it's although people think it is the next generation of wireless technology, it's a little bit different. Earlier technologies are basically B2C for consumers mainly, but 5G provides solution to both consumer and also to business. On the consumer side, 5G provides enhanced mobile broadband, EMB, and that is used to provide better facility to customers for videos, for example, or even for some people provide wireless access to the homes. Right. On the business side, which is where majority of the 5G will be used in the future, one of the use cases is massive IoT. Massive IoT means you have a lot of sensors that will be used in manufacturing or in cities when you have cameras or you have parking lots, any such thing. And also in transportation, when you're doing logistics, you are sending goods from one place to other, so it gives you better tracking. And there is a last section, B2B2C, it's usually called. It provides you ultra reliable and low latency communication, 5G. So you can use it for industrial automation. So when in your manufacturing, you have a lot of machines and you want to know the health of the machines, 5G is very useful there. Also in the future, there will be what is called factories of the future, where you can use 5G technology to dynamically see what you're producing, change it. You may make cycle today, bicycle, tomorrow you may make scooter. So 5G allows you to prepare that kind of factories. Also in healthcare, you can produce a lot of data, and the data can be processed fast and useful for patients, right? Better healthcare. And finally, autonomous vehicles. In the future, your vehicles on the road will communicate with each other, or they communicate with insurance companies, or they communicate with other services you're getting, like entertainment and all. So 5G will play a big role there. Next slide, please. So if you see here, another view at the industries, right? Where some industries like broadband from home, I know these days everybody work from home. If with 5G, you will have better capability to do a lot more things from home. Second is, virtual or immersive reality. You can experience, 3D and even, more dimensions, as you go along. And home entertainment, you can get a lot of speed. So, your family can watch a lot of entertainment from home. All the speed is necessary, and 5G provide you that speed. Latency means, low latency. Basically, you can get response very fast. So when you're going in a car and your car need to get some instructions about accidents, stuff like that, then 5G, provide you the necessary capability. And finally, for smart city and manufacturing, like I told you, you have a lot of sensor. And 5G can give you the bandwidth for many sensors to communicate, so that you can process the data. So the density, the number of devices you can have in any particular location, or within a square kilometer, it can support up to 1 million devices. So a lot of traffic is supported by 5G. So these use cases actually make 5G a very, very interesting solution for companies. And HCL is trying to do both solutions and custom implementations and consulting for different companies. I will cover some of them as we go along. Next slide, please. So in 5G, if you look at who are the players. So for example, telecommunication service providers like AT&T, Deutsche Telekom, Viettel, these are examples of companies which will provide 5G capability. And to have for communication provider to provide 5G capability, you need companies like Cisco, Ericsson, or Nokia who provide the equipment. And you need companies like Intel and Qualcomm who provide the chips. So this is second type of companies. And not only that, in 5G, it is all software based. So you can deploy the solutions of 5G on your premise or in the cloud. So cloud companies like Amazon, Microsoft, and Google, they are also big players in 5G. They will have a very important role. And platform vendors. Platform vendors means IBM, SAP, VMware, Red Hat, and many more are platform vendors who provide the necessary capability. For example, when you're deploying these applications into the cloud, somebody need to manage it. Somebody need to figure out where to deploy, and somebody need to monitor them. So, those kind of capabilities the platform vendors provide. And finally, the fifth big chunk is the enterprises. Enterprises could be, motor companies like VinFast or Ford, or it could be, manufacturing companies like John Deere, Caterpillar, many more, Sony, and, you name it. There are so many enterprises that will end up using 5G because of the many capabilities it provides. And each company will use different capabilities, but they are all, all the other four like TSPs, OEM, semi, hyperscaler, and platform, they all will be used by enterprises to actually do better business. Next slide, please. Our vision at HCL, what are we trying to do in 5G? We want to be the market leader. Market leader means we want to have the best solutions, we want to have the best practices and best products. And we want to be the preferred vendor of choice. In the previous slide, we saw many companies. they have a lot of choice, but we want to be the best player because, like Tuan was mentioning earlier, we do the best research, we have the best engineering capability, we want to create the best services so that we can provide the most value for the money our customer pays. Our immediate mission in our group is to build a world-class organization. So this organization will have exceptional talent, and this talent will participate in several areas like 5G, softwareization, basically developing cloud applications, data engineering, how do you process a lot of data, what different kinds of databases, analytics, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and finally Industry 4.0, where you have all the use cases for helping the enterprises. So this is where today we are talking to students and engineers in Vietnam. We want you to understand that we are planning to do top of the line development in Vietnam. So we are very interested in getting the best talent from Vietnam so that you can help HCL in providing these solutions. Next slide, please. So here is our 360-degree plan. So to do 5G, like I explained, you need to bring a lot of things together. One is the ecosystem. Ecosystem means all the companies I talked about earlier, they all need to work together to provide the solution. So that's part of the ecosystem. I will explain a little bit more later. Second part of our 360-degree plan is competency development. We want to hire the best of talent, train them on 5G, give them hands-on exercises, make them participate in customer projects, increase their capability and competency, and then make them very capable engineers in the 5G area. That is our competency development. Differentiated solution. Like I said earlier, that HCL is a very good R&D company. It builds products, accelerators. So we want to build the best foundation for all these solutions. And we also want to, for each industry, we want to have the best solution that they can get. Inorganic growth, Tuan already covered in his presentation that we acquire companies whenever needed. So we always will do acquisitions of companies which complement our capability so that we can grow faster. And the fifth thing in our 360-degree plan is the focused marketing. So we are clearly marketing our capabilities in a lot of different media. And then we want to reach out to all our customers. We do webinars, we participate in Mobile World Congress, for example. We visit customer sites, we sponsor tech talks. Now we do a variety of stuff to actually get our message in front of the customers. So this is our 360-degree plan. High level is made of 5 pieces. Next slide, please. So this is the ecosystem. When we say ecosystem, like I explained earlier, there are 5 different players. If you go from the bottom, on the bottom you have the hardware. You have the servers, devices, tools, network elements, simulators. Using them, we create data centers or we create test labs. On top of that, you see the cloud infrastructure. So we need to either we use infrastructure as a service, or we use PaaS. We use different kinds of frameworks to build the infrastructure. If you go above that in 5G, there are 3 key areas. There is the edge, there is the core, and RAN. Core is where you have all the smart pieces or intelligence of 5G. It can figure out how to route the data. It can figure out who can access the network. It can do security. It can do a lot of backbone capabilities, backend capabilities rather. And the RAN is very basically where your devices, whether it's your phone or sensors, they are using radio to communicate. Here you have pieces like RU, DU, and CU, right? So that is the second component. And edge on the very left there, it's a very critical component of 5G, especially for enterprises, because instead of real-time analytics, being far from the machines, for example, or the patients in the hospital, it will be close to them so that the processing will add value in and provide you low latency. And to do all this, you need the management. So you have the NFV and MANO layers. And if you go to the top, the green color is all your enterprise applications. So it is smart factory or smart health, connected vehicles, like I said, oil and mining, manufacturing, retail, hospital, government, all this and many more. So all these companies will use 5G in the future to provide better service to their customers, and HCL will provide the necessary capabilities to these companies. And also we will provide service assurance solutions, which basically allow you to monitor the networks and applications and provide the best of capabilities. So make sure that there is no downtime of these applications and the network. And on the right side in yellow color on the top, you see CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous development, and continuous testing. 5G uses a lot of IT capabilities. In the past, only IT side used to have this kind of technology, but with 5G, it is being adopted in the network side also. So the networks are dynamic now. You can do new upgrades very fast because your deployment can control it. So this is at a high level what is the ecosystem. If you join HCL, depending on your preference, you can work on in any of these areas. If you're a very good, for example, system type of person, you could work in the cloud or on the server side. If you're a very good application developer, you could work on smart factory or CI/CD. If you're a very good telecom kind of person, or you're interested in telecom, you could work on core RAN or edge. So it depends. There are a lot of choices you will have when you come to HCL to work. Next slide, please. So specifically on the solutions. So we have roughly 6 types of solutions we give to the customers. One is what we call product engineering. Product engineering means these are companies that make products but need help. They could be companies like which make telecommunication equipment, or they could be companies which make sensor. They could be companies which make manufacturing machine, anything. They all need help. They could be companies which are making chips. We help all kind of companies in their engineering. So that's called engineering service. Next, we have the CI/CD CT. This is where once the products are built, we help telephone companies or enterprises to actually deploy the product in a continuous fashion. That is CI/CD CT. And in service assurance, like I said earlier, here in this service, we actually monitor the networks of either telephone companies or enterprises, make sure they are always up and the networks are doing their job. On the right side top, private networks and enterprise 5G. This is specifically where we go to enterprises and look at what they have today, what kind of technologies they have, how they should move to 5G. So we provide consultancy services. We design the networks, because when you move, for example, from Wi-Fi to 5G, you need to do a lot of changes. So we help them with the network design. We also identify existing use case. For example, today the companies may be monitoring using sensor. Tomorrow they want to use monitoring with video. So we understand what the company want to do and provide them the right solution. And we enable. Every company already have data and devices. So they need those and applications. So all these need to change to take advantage of 5G. We help them with that. We call that 5G enablement. And we also have some technologies as a box, which we call application function suite. We give that to the customers. And next to that, you see the ORAN. ORAN is the Open RAN. It is open source. So HCL is a big player in open source. We believe in it. We do a lot of open source work in ORAN, specifically on the non-real-time brick. We are doing a lot of innovation there, helping the whole community. We are also doing XApps and RApps. These applications actually help the network understand what is going on and give you analytics, and then reconfigure the network when it is needed. So we are doing a lot of open source innovation. Once we put in open source, everybody can use it. So that way we are helping the industry. And finally, we do labs. The labs as a service is a very important aspect, because any company, for example, company A may be doing a RAN device, but they need to test it against a lot of cores. So we have a lab where the company A can come and then test their equipment with us. So we provide that as lab as a service. So these are important areas. If you see the green on the bottom, we have multi-vendor, multi-domain experience. We are highly experienced in a lot of equipment companies, a lot of telephone companies, a lot of enterprises. We have that experience, which is very useful for us to provide 5G services. We have more than 10 partners in our lab. So our lab is, can support a lot of different scenarios. We have a practice, we call it Center of Excellence. We have a lot of practitioners or engineers there. I am part of that. I'm one of the leaders there. We have many leaders. These people, our practitioners can provide the best service for our customers. And we have a lot of investment also. We acquire some products from other companies, and we develop our own products, which will help us to service our customers. So this is in general what are the services you provide. You can carefully understand what these are, and if you join us, you will be providing one of these services to our customers. You will become a better engineer, and you will learn a lot of things. Next slide, please. So this is our on the enterprise. Like I told you, in 5G there are two areas. You have the telecom service provider, and you have the enterprise. They need different solutions. Enterprise is a very big important thing because 5G will be used by a lot of enterprises. So we have a strategy here. These are the different parts of our strategy, 8 key areas. One is thought leadership. So we do a lot of innovation. We write white papers, we do blogs, we do webinars, we explain to the industry our thinking, we understand from the industry, and we work with our customers, take their problems, solve them. So we show a lot of thought leadership. The second part is the subject matter expertise. Like I said earlier, we have a lot of experts. They know all areas of 5G, including chip design to actually going to a manufacturing company. So we have the subject matter expertise. We have a lot of industry alliances. So we work with industry forum to actually work with them to define standards or participate in standards. We have industry aligned integrations. There are a lot of industries and each industry has its own integration. So we do industry aligned integration. We do design with clients, innovation by design. So we go to the clients, understand their needs, and we do innovation. We design for them, and we provide the best service. Like I said earlier, we have private network and 5G labs. These labs are very useful for our customers. This is a very important part of our strategy. We have labs in Washington State in the USA. We have labs in Frisco in the USA. We have labs in India. Like Tuan said, we want to also one day get to a lab in Vietnam. So and then we have strong partnerships with a lot of players, both equipment manufacturer, with telecom companies, with enterprises. So we create with cloud players. These partnerships help us in providing the best solution. And finally, managed service. After we provide the initial solution to the customer, we have HCL has a big infrastructure and applications group and engineering group, which can continue to support the customer for maintaining their infrastructure, for monitoring it, for upgrading applications, a lot of different things. So we provide end-to-end. Next slide, please. And very quickly, this is the enterprise solution. Like I said earlier, enterprises, they are interested in companies which can provide them the whole thing. So they cannot do the solution themselves, but they are wanting companies like HCL to understand what goes on in the devices on the bottom, what goes on the RAN or the network, what goes on in the operators, telephone companies, and the red layer is enterprise applications like ERPs. It could be Infor, Blue Yonder, SAP. And on the top is your IoT use cases or enterprise use cases. So the companies need to do all this, and they expect companies like HCL to provide this service. I mean, the enterprises. So HCL is capable of doing end-to-end, and in each layer also we work with the companies. For example, if a camera is not 5G ready today, we can work with the camera company and make it 5G ready. So we can do the design for them. If an OEM, telecom OEM needs our help, we can work with them in building their applications. If a telephone company needs our help, we can do that. If a ERP company like Infor or SAP or Blue Yonder, they need our help to enable applications, we can do that. And finally, the enterprises, VinFast or Ford or Honda or Sony, anybody. We can work with them to provide them the services that help their business. Next slide, please. And this is, I mentioned earlier that we do a lot of open source contribution, ORAN, Open RAN also it's called. We do a lot of work there. There are 8 groups in there. We work in 2 of them very closely. One is called WG3, where we do what is called the near real-time RIC. This is basically RAN intelligent controller. It get data from the rest of the RAN and then process it very fast and figure out if there are problems in the RAN and then sort of make the necessary changes or give indication to the monitoring team. So that layer, we are a very key player. And also in work group 8, which is the DU, the distributed unit, we are doing a lot of design and development in that area. Apart from this, we also do help in the testing and CI/CD of the whole Open RAN community. So we are a recognized player in Open RAN. There are a lot of players there, but HCL, like I said earlier, is very committed to providing the capabilities, our capabilities to the general industry as a service. Next slide, please. This is our lab. This is some of the equipments we have in our lab we are showing here. We have more types of equipment coming. On the RAN, for example, on the top left, we use Benetel, Foxconn, right? We also use Mavenir, and we are working with several other partners. We work with Casa Systems on the core, right? If you see the core, there are all these modules. So we work with more companies on the modules, but this is a sampling of some of the companies we work with. On the core side, on the RAN side, Benetel, Foxconn, and many others. And we are constantly looking for partners who can help us different industries. We know in the enterprise area that each kind of, for example, in mining, some companies are strong, and in manufacturing, some companies are strong. We create partnerships with all these companies. On top of them, we provide our own solutions, and we create the end-to-end, like I showed earlier. Next slide, please. This is a sample. It looks very simple from a topology perspective, but it could get complicated. So you have the MEC layer in a private enterprise. This is where all the closer intelligence, the edge applications are running. You have the devices which are communicating using radio, or we have sometimes what's called a MiFi device, which converts a non-5G to a 5G, for example, right? And, we also on the right side, you see we have the cloud. So the whole idea of private 5G or private networks is to bring some application that are running in the cloud on the right side, close to your factory, for example, or your hospital or your mine. So that way, the responses come fast. So we do this topology, like I explained earlier, we have in many different labs, and we are growing this topology every day as more and more devices are getting available. Next slide, please. So from a team perspective, so I want to cover 2-3 slides on what we are doing in Vietnam. So from a team perspective, we want to build a team in Vietnam which can help us do the 5G engineering and custom projects for the customers. So these are all the kinds of roles: RAN core engineer, cloud platform developer, service assurance, automation, CI/CD, ORAN, all these different things. We want to build a solid team in Vietnam, right? We need, we are looking for engineering graduates who can come and help us from various disciplines. Even we are also looking for experienced people. If somebody is already experienced, we can provide the opportunity. If somebody is graduating, we have a good plan to train them. As long as they have some good foundation, then we can train them. Next slide, please. Here is our, we have an academy or an internal university, if you want to call it. Here we have a plan for different kinds of people we recruit. For example, if you're already experienced, we will experience in industry, you know how to do very good Java or C++ or Python or R. So we can then take you into a training where we can teach you cloud fundamentals and then teach you how to do CI/CD or whatever, or we can, depending on your interest, or we can also teach you what is 5G or what is edge. So that is the core path we will take you. And finally, in about 12 weeks, we will make you experienced or knowledgeable enough to start helping us in projects. And in about 1 year, you will become very experienced to actually, take on your own work, right? So we will help you grow in your area. But if you're coming from a school and you don't have a lot of experience, then we will start with the fundamentals in some language you are interested in, like C or C++. And then we will train you that. Once you are good in that, in about 4 to 6 weeks, then we will take you into the next level where the experts are coming, right? Or experienced people are coming. So we have different kinds of plans for different types of people joining us. But at the end of the day, in about 6 to 12 months, we want to make sure that you are good and you can solve customer problems. Next slide, please. And this is our path. So when you join HCL, you will be a research or a test engineer, and then you will grow up to senior lead, architect, and you can go all the way up to principal architect. And actually, even before this blue box, you can also join us as an intern. Intern will be you're still in college, but you can work with us in summer or your free time, so we can start training you. And then once you graduate, you can join us as a research engineer, and you can go the path. HCL, like Tuan said, is a very interesting company, and you can learn a lot of things when you join HCL. I think this is the last slide from my side. So thank you, everyone, for listening to me, and we are very glad to have you here. We'll take any questions.
All right, thank you, Mr. Saikuma, and thank you, Mr. Tuns, for your presentation. Và phần chia sẻ vừa rồi cũng đã khép lại nội dung chính của chương trình ngày hôm nay. Và tiếp theo sau đây thì xin mời đến với phần Q&A. Và nếu như các bạn có bất kỳ thắc mắc nào thì vui lòng để lại câu hỏi ở dưới phần comment. So, and with sharing was so close to the main topic of our event today. So, let's move on to the Q&A session. So, if you have any questions, please comment below and we are happy to answer. We have not much question today, but one person named Mr. Ching asking like currently he interested in FWA and the end of this service. The 5G terminals can emit the Wi-Fi or connect via the internet or giganet interface. So can you talk a little bit more about this one?
Sure. So in 5G, right, fixed wireless access is one of the services that is provided. Basically, both for homes and in some companies where, mobility of the devices is not there. So you don't need Wi-Fi anymore. You can use the FWA to access the internet, right? So this is one of the ways 5G can be used. So if you want more detail on that, you can send us an email, then we can explain to you more. On the Wi-Fi takeout, that is if I understand the question right, many companies use 5G today, and some of them are trying to convert to many companies use Wi-Fi today, and they're trying to convert to 5G. And then for that purpose, there are different strategies. For example, many companies do Wi-Fi dongles, as they are called, or converters, which you can plug into your current devices, and they can start to emit 5G, and that can be taken by a RAN, and then it get processed like that. Okay, any other questions?
Thank you for your answer. So yes, we have another question. When 5G phones work when 5G service is limited to or unavailable, for example, countryside?
Yep. So that is a traditional problem. That is why, for example, in countryside and rural areas, the private networks are taking over. So where you cannot, there is no cost benefit to have big 5G infrastructure. There are smaller companies coming up which are using private networks or edge devices, if I can say, to actually provide 5G service to the customers. There are many areas like that also in the US where there is limited population, So this is one of the strategies many companies are coming.
Thank you, Mr. Sai. So, dạ vâng, và trước khi kết thúc chương trình thì xin hãy dành khoảng 2 phút để hoàn thiện feedback form. So before closing, please complete the feedback form sharing in the chat box. Your feedback is very important for quality improvement in the next seminars. I know that there still have a lot of questions that need to be answered, but we are running out of time, so we will answer the remaining questions on email or inbox. Và hy vọng rằng buổi hội thảo ngày hôm nay sẽ mang lại cho các bạn những kiến thức bổ ích trong công việc. Và nếu như các bạn quan tâm đến các cơ hội việc làm tại Excel, vui lòng truy cập vào excelvietnam.com để xem các vị trí đang tuyển dụng. Và một lần nữa thì mình xin cảm ơn các vị quý đã dành thời gian tham dự hội thảo và chúc mọi người một cuối tuần tràn đầy niềm vui và khỏe mạnh. So hope today event will bring you useful knowledge. If you have any interest in career opportunity at Excel, please visit excelvietnam.com to find out available jobs. And thank you to attend our sessions. And thank you to our generalized speakers, Mr. Saikuma and Mr. Atun, for attending our session today. And have a good weekend and stay safe and healthy. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you.